Welcome to Table Bible Studies with Den and Ben. New studies are posted every Thursday. Today, we've reached the conclusion of a three-part series about the virtuous woman described in Proverbs 31, and we learn about her most important characteristic and the secret of her wise behavior.
She opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. So two great virtues. She's wise. When she speaks wisdom. She speaks wise things, not stupid things. And then it says there is a law, interesting way it puts it here, a law of kindness on her tongue.
Wow.
A law of, this is a kind lady. She works hard. She's strong. She's not wimpy, but she's a kind person.
Yeah.
Just because you're strong doesn't mean you have to be harsh. Some people think strong equals harsh. If I'm strong, I've got to be tough. I got to be harsh.
Right.
No, she's strong, but she's also kind,
Yeah.
which is a good combination.
Yeah, it's a good combination. Like if you're strong, that does not mean that you have to be iron lady, bossing everybody around.
Yeah.
And then by the time you turn to iron lady and be, too bossy, you have a kind of hatred coming from every side.
Yeah.
And you won't be this kind of woman, because it looks like, many people loves her. And when she goes out, she sells her things and everybody, she is not, there's no record yet. We're still going down, but reading down, but we've not seen any place that, says, oh, she just fought, in the marketplace.
Yeah.
She quarreled with everybody in the marketplace.
Screaming at people.
Screaming at people. So it looks like, people loved her in the
Right.
marketplace and outside her home. And in her home, the family loves her. So it's like, kind of a wonderful woman.
Yeah, well respected, by her own
yes.
family and by people that
Outsiders.
know of her. Verse 27, she watches over the ways of her household.
Yeah.
And does not eat the bread of idleness. Well, to be idle means
Okay.
you don't work. You just lie around and take it easy and sleep a lot. It says she won't eat that bread. She will eat the bread of hard work. And she will watch over her household, things that we've read before.
Mhm.
And then in the next verse, it says her children rise up and call her blessed. So she has won the affection and the respect
Of her
of her children.
That is great.
Now, maybe they haven't reached the age of 15 because very few 15-year-olds respect their parents too much.
Yeah.
But as they get older, they will.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting. If you watch football games, a lot of times you'll see these big old football players. I mean, they weigh 280, 300 pounds, big
Yeah.
old tough guys, right?
Yeah.
Muscles. And the camera will zoom in on their face and they'll go, you know what they're saying?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Okay.
They're not saying hi, Dad. They're saying hi,
Hi,
Mom.
Mom.
These big old tough guys are saying hi to Mama.
Yeah.
Because she has won their respect.
Okay.
They remember the sacrifices she made.
Yeah.
They remember the love she showed. Now, when they were 15, they might not have respected her so much, but now they're like 30 and they're in the NFL and they're making millions, and it's like, hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
They're remembering what Mama did when
Has
they were
gone
young.
through, yeah.
And another thing is this, in America, we have a Mother's Day,
Okay.
where we celebrate moms, and we have a Father's Day when we
Okay.
celebrate dads. Well, that's as it should be.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, Mother's Day is a much bigger deal in America than Father's Day. Fathers, you get your dad a tie, you say Happy Father's Day, and that's it. But Mama's Day, you go overboard. You buy all kinds of presents. You
Yeah.
go visit her. You do whatever it takes because you just remember Mama.
Yeah.
And this is a mama those kids are going to remember. It says they call her blessed. If you ask, what do you think about your mother? What kind of a mom was she? Oh, she was a blessed mom. I was blessed to have her.
Yeah.
She was a great lady.
Right.
That's the kind of testimony you want, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the kind of testimony you want to have, in your household. This is like encouragement to every mother or every father to, be patient with those kids, especially when they are teenagers. They can be, rough on the age and, yelling at you and telling you like they think they know everything. The mother is correcting them. The father is correcting them. No, don't tell me a thing. So they think they know it all, but be patient with them. Keep correcting them when they grow up like those footballers you are describing, they'll be like, hi mom in the camera. So on the camera, sorry, they will be like, okay, they're now grown-ups.
Yeah.
They have known that, okay, mom did a great work to keep us going. And this is us today on the field, playing with, magnificent players and they, getting it right. And I was like, okay, like you said, that Mother's Day is well celebrated than Father's Day. This is the same in Africa. I kind of watch some people that will come home maybe during the Easter or Christmas.
Yeah.
They will buy a lot of things for their mom.
Uh-oh.
I don't have to, let me mention but few. You have the, they will dress their mother from up to down.
Yeah.
African fabrics, maybe the lace, and some other ones that are, if I call the name George, they will now buy the upper one that she's gonna wear, and then buy the big gele, the big hair tie.
Okay.
And then they will buy her shoes,
Oh,
and they
wow.
will buy her bags of rice, which, the family, that is for the family. They will buy all kinds of things, jewelries, and the bag is like this. You know what they're gonna buy for the father?
I have no idea.
A bottle of schnapps.
Bottle of schnapps. Okay. And he's got.
That's a hot drink.
Okay, yeah.
A bottle of wine or kind of gin.
Okay.
That is what the father, and maybe a walking stick.
Okay.
With a walking stick.
Well,
that is for
you
the
take
dad.
what you can get, right?
You take what you can get.
Well, and I think it reflects on the fact that mamas typically are much more sacrificial than dads concerning the children. Dads will go out and work. They'll work 10 hours, 12 hours a day. But mama, they will sacrifice anything for their children.
Right.
So someone once asked a boy, okay, if you've got a pie and you've got the dad, the mom, and your 3 children that are going to share that pie, so how many pieces do you divide up? He said, well, you divide it into 4 pieces. Okay. They said, now, wait a minute. You got 5 people. You got 3 children, dad and mom. That would be 5 pieces, right? He said, no, you divide it into 4 because mama wouldn't take any. She would just save it for us. And just the nature of a beautiful mother, such as this lady is. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, he praises her.
Yeah.
Well, compliments are great.
Good husband.
From anybody you can get, but it's especially when your spouse can compliment, because they know you the best. Yeah. They know your flaws. They know your failures. They know, all the things about you that aren't so pretty. And yet, if you've got a husband or a wife that can say, well, they're not perfect, but on balance, I could have done a whole lot worse. I think I'm blessed to have them as my husband or my wife. That's what you want. And in this case, her husband said, she's a blessed lady, and I'm a blessed man to have her. Yeah. And so that's a beautiful testimony.
And, if I may say right here on the camera while we're discussing this lady, I get my compliments every day. I get my compliments from the time I get up from bed. My greetings. I should record my greetings sometimes. It's so wonderful. Like, oh my goodness. I'm like... from the time I get up from bed, I am so, loved. And it's like from morning till evening, great compliments coming from my husband. I'm like, wow, I am so, blessed and loved.
Well, I'm the blessed one to have you, my love.
Okay.
All right. The next verse, many daughters have done well. In other words, there are quite a few women that have done pretty well, but he says, you excel them all. Apparently a man talking to his wife here.
Yes.
Maybe King Lemuel that started, we find at the beginning. You excel them all. Well, what could be better than that? A man saying to his wife, you're better than any of them. There's a lot of good women around, and there are, but you're the best. Then he goes on to say, charm is deceitful. You can be charming, and behind all your charm is some real ugliness, some real bitterness, some real anger, some real issues. But you know how to turn on the charm. Okay. Oh, how are you doing? And just a big smile and a sweet talk. But behind it, there's a poisonous anger and bitterness and just a bad attitude. Yeah. So charm can be deceitful. You may have charm, and it's just skin deep. Beauty is passing. Beauty is a good thing. Right. Like any man, I appreciate my wife for her beauty, but it's not going to last forever. If the Lord gives you another 50 years, you're not going to look as good as you do now 50 years from now. So beauty will pass. But he says, a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised.
Yes.
So here is a woman who fears the Lord. Now, we've gone through this whole section. It talks about how she works hard. She gets up early in the morning. She makes clothing for her family. She's buying fields.
Right.
She's planting vineyards. She's directing everything in the household.
Right.
Until now, we don't see the connection to the Lord.
Yes.
We just see a hardworking lady who's
Hardworking lady.
respectful and just a good woman, but we don't see any connection. Right now, we see where it's all coming from.
Right.
She fears the Lord.
She fears the Lord.
Or to put it in a Christian perspective, she loves Jesus.
She
abides
the
in
Lord,
Jesus.
yes.
And all this other stuff, the hard work, the kindness, the fact that she cares about her family, she loves her husband, she's a good administrator. All of this is pouring out of a heart that loves the Lord. Or as it says here, fears the Lord, respects God.
Yes.
So here's the ultimate thing in this lady. She has a relationship with God through Jesus Christ, we would say today. And out of that
Yes.
comes all the rest.
Right,
So
right.
you don't just say, well, I want to be a virtuous woman, so I'm going to be a hard worker, and I'm going to get up before it ever turns light, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to buy a field and plant a vineyard. No, you start with knowing Christ.
Yes.
You start with having a relationship with God, and then it's kind of like a seed gets planted. Out of that will grow kindness, hard work, a willingness to love your husband, to love your family, to be respectful, to be faithful to your husband. All of the good stuff that comes out that makes a woman, this virtuous woman, this virtuous wife, is going to spring out of a relationship with Jesus. That's why he says, abide in me. He said, you're not going to bear any fruit. But boy, when you read this, you're seeing all kinds of fruit coming out of her life. The fruit of hard work, the fruit of blessing her family. And her family's wearing scarlet and all these fancy clothes. But all this fruit is coming from the root of Jesus Christ.
Yes, you're right. Like you said, the fruit of the Spirit, is really kind of migrating from here. Like, it's a peaceful home. We've not seen that they fight all the time.
Right.
So the peace of God is in this home, and the love of God is in this home. You can see, another one is love, and so on. And I'm like, okay, this woman has a fear of God.
Yeah.
And the Bible says in this same, Proverbs that we're reading, if you read the beginning part of it, it says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.
Yeah. And it talks about her being wise.
Being wise. And if you watch this woman carefully, reading her and studying her, you will see wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. She has a wisdom to, keep her home secured and, provide for her home and work and not be lazy and, make sure that there is no kind of lack in her home. So she provides while her husband is providing, she's providing, and at the same time there is this comfortability going on in that home. They are comfortable in the area financially, materially, food wise, and everything is just going on for them. And she has wisdom, she has understanding, knowing that I understand that I am married. I am in my husband's home. I have children. I have maids to feed. I have everyone to cater for. And I have to do my part while my husband is doing his part. And the home is, upgraded. And it's like the knowledge that this woman has, I'm sure that the Bible gave us some of them, not all, but we have enough to know that this woman is a wonderful woman of God, that somebody who is a believer should go and study this if you want to, not everybody will be her.
Not
but
exactly her, but there are principles here that every woman should imbibe.
Learn.
You may not all be qualified to go out and buy fields in a lot of places. People don't do that anyway.
Right.
All
like
right,
cooking, some people will be like, I don't do the cooking thing. I don't.
We just want to have bulletproof coffee for breakfast.
We just
like we often do.
Go to the Chinese restaurant and order the food. We have to, buy it, order pizza.
Things have changed a lot since those days. But the principle of being a hard worker, being someone who cares about your family, that'll never change.
Yeah.
That will always be true. It sums up this chapter and this book of Proverbs with these words: give her the fruit of her hands. In other words, she's doing so much to make the family a prophet, husband, don't take it all from her. Let her have some of the money she's making to go buy herself some treat for herself.
Right.
When a woman works hard, she deserves to be able to go and buy herself some nice things, some special treats, and just to make her life pleasant.
Yes.
It says, let her own works praise her in the gates. So a tremendous biography of the virtuous woman, the virtuous wife.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, I have a feeling that some of the women who hear this study are going to be a little intimidated and a little depressed, thinking, man, I could never live up to that. I mean, forget it. If that's what it takes, I'll never get there.
It's intimidating, I tell you.
You being a woman, why don't you just look into the camera and just give them some encouragement? None of us will ever do this perfectly. We all fall short. But by God's grace, we can get to a relative place of that virtuous woman or virtuous man.
Yeah, you're right. Being a woman, I can't say that I can, that I do all of this, but we can just say that we women should buckle up and know that we are in a household where we have to be the helpmate, like the Bible recorded in Genesis, that God have said it, that the man staying alone is not good. I will make her a helpmate. And we should know that we are helpmates to our husband and take our place and help our husband, because if you leave the whole work for your husband to do, it will be overwhelming. It will be too much for your husband. And while you bring your part in the home, your husband bring his own parts, you work together, it will be a great and wonderful home. A lot of supplies for the household, taking care of the kids and all of that. And I will also say that if you read this and study this, or you're listening to what we are saying now, you can, study all that she is doing and know what you can be capable of doing, and or what inside you, that I am so, feeling it strongly that I can do this, I can do that, I can be a real estate woman, I can do business, I can open my own business, I can, do the ministry, I can be a preacher, I can be evangelist, I can be, a singer, I can be, a great and a wonderful woman that God will be proud of, and everybody that sees you will be like, I just want to be, like this woman, or I want to be more than this woman. I want to do more. I want to do great, because God has put in us a lot of potentials that we should bring out, because God has given us talents. The Holy Spirit that we have is a bundle of talent inside us. So by the time you put the Holy Spirit at work, He will guide you, step by step. This woman is a godly woman. The fear of God is in her. So we should know that while we are walking with our husband, everything is going to be fine. If your husband is a preacher, help your husband out. If you leave the whole work for your husband, it may be too much. And and at the same time, I just want to round it up by saying, be a God-fearing woman, and pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Lord, and at the same time of what you are doing at home.
And let me just give a word to the husbands. Like I said, you don't hear a lot about the husband, but if you read between the lines, you'd find out this guy encouraged his wife in a lot of areas. He saw where she had strengths, and he's like, go at it. My love, go ahead, go check out that field, go plant that vineyard. So when you discover your wife has talents and gifts, not only allow her to use them, encourage her to use them, encourage her to step out and use those particular talents so that you can be a virtuous man, just as she will be a virtuous wife.
Probably most of you know my wife Benedicta, but few of you know the amazing paths God has led her to bring her to where she is today. Benedicta was orphaned at an early age and lived with an elderly stepmother growing to adolescence. They were so poor, Benedicta had to drop out of school and sell food door to door for them to survive. As a teen, Benedicta got a job as a housemaid, which developed into a nightmare. She was required to cook, clean, wash, take care of the children, and she had to get up at 4 a.m. every day just to get her work started. Worse than that, she was frequently beaten. At around 20, she moved to the huge city of Lagos, where she started her own little business. Sometimes she prospered, but at other times she nearly starved and went days at a time without eating. At one point, she became so sick she passed out in her room and nearly died. She found herself outside of her body, and she was able to see the splendors of heaven until she was sent back with a command to share her story. One day, however, her life changed when an American evangelist came to her community to preach, and of course, that was me. The rest, as they say, is history. Benedicta has shared her life story in a recently published autobiography, and you can get it on Amazon as either an ebook or a paperback. A link to this book on Amazon is in the description.